Hello everyone, here with us today is the United Way CEO Brian Gallagher. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Yuwei.
You were in China just very recently.
Yep.
And the United Way launched a new partnership with the Shanghai Charity Foundation.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this whole partnership and what is the goal of this whole initiative?
Yeah, we partnered with the Shanghai Charity Foundation. We set up a United Way fund within the foundation, supported by Chinese companies and U.S. and Western companies, to provide programming for children of migrant families. As many people in China would know, everybody in Shanghai would know, one of the biggest challenges are the number of people that have moved from rural areas into the city for jobs. And the Shanghai Charity Foundation, working with us and our corporate partners, have decided that what we want to focus on is providing education, nutrition, and social support for children from birth until 6 years old of migrant families.
What do you make of the current whole picture of China NGOs in China, this kind of power of grassroots?
I think the approach that China's government and businesses have taken to economic expansion can fit in charity and philanthropy as well. And what I mean by that is create incentive and good regulation and financial incentive to create nonprofits, and then pilot approaches locally. So let different provinces, let different cities experiment with what's the role of government going forward. So for instance, the government's not going to be able to provide all the services anymore going forward. It's going to need the middle class and wealthy citizens to be involved as volunteering to create the grassroots nonprofits. And then the regulation is going to have to be to make sure that things are legal and transparent, but also enough independence to allow these nonprofits to operate effectively. Because important in terms of an effective nonprofit community is that they be local.
It's also, there's a lot of new interesting trends coming out of China. The
really
growing
is.
middle class, the growing, increasing number of billionaires. So what is your view on how the concept of philanthropy is understood, received, and will be carried out in China?
It's a great question. It's a very exciting time in China from my perspective, vis-a-vis philanthropy and giving and charity. One of the things that I think is important to realize in terms of the economic success of China is it's not unlike the industrialization of the West 150 years ago. The difference is it has happened so much faster, so much faster. And so wealth has been created in very quick order. Middle class, as you say, has been evolving very quickly. And inequality comes with that. Capitalism brings inequality in terms of a system. And so philanthropy is a way for a better, lack of a better term, there's a private redistribution of wealth and support. Philanthropy is not as well understood in China as it's, say, in the United States, but the human instinct is the same, to want to help other people. And the human instinct is the same for now many wealthy people who feel fortunate and realize that they should give back. The biggest challenge, I think, for China in this space is that there needs to be the creation of what I would refer to as a nonprofit industry. Small and mid-sized direct service nonprofits who actually provide services. China's been very accustomed to government providing all the services. In this system, nonprofits are going to provide the services, but they have to be created and regulated. There has to be management training. There has to be good technology.
United Way Worldwide is the largest privately founded nonprofit, and you mentioned you're in some 41 countries and regions. So you focus on education, health, and low income. In China in particular, what kind of strategy in these areas you have formed and what's ahead?
Education, income, and health is our focus, but what's really the overall focus is common good. and that's quite honestly where I think there's real synergy with our work and the way we approach work in the Chinese culture, which is important to do these things together. The other thing that we can be very helpful with is, so for the last 20 years, you've had Western companies that have also taken advantage of the economic success of China, and they want to and have a responsibility to give back. And we have a relationship with all of these companies, and we're providing ways for the company and the employees to give their time and to give their money to help those less fortunate.
What do you comment on the government's support and involvement in terms of making all these kind of projects and making opportunities for the NGOs in China?
I think, it's my first trip to China was 11 or 12 years ago. I think the government has been methodical, but always thinking about the future. So when I first went, we talked to the government about the tax law and regulation of nonprofits. How would you regulate nonprofits? How would you incent nonprofits? We talked to them a lot about it's too difficult to establish a nonprofit in China. You have to make it easier. And then you can manage it and monitor it. So I think government has come through that very well. I think the foundation, like I say, private foundations, government's been very supportive of that. I think the next step for government is now what they're allowing in Shanghai and in that part of the country, which is more independence. The same way that you had, free trade zones and more independence of the economy and so forth, now you have to allow that for nonprofits.
United Way has past 15 years history in China.
Yeah.
What will be your mission and your goals in the next 5 years?
So Shanghai is, what we're trying to learn in Shanghai is, does it work? So will Chinese people give money and time to a fund and to a project to help, in many cases, people they don't know? And so migrant families. And so we'll prove it in Shanghai, and then the plan is to go to other cities. And we're working with Beijing central government as well as Shanghai China Charity Foundation. And so our plan is to go to other major cities across China, have the same kind of partnership that we've launched in Shanghai, but then we will customize for that city.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.